Okay. So, sorry guys. Okay, Daniel, why don't you come here?
Magically.
Hi.
So let me just myself. Okay, I just want to introduce Daniel before he starts speaking. So Rabbi Daniel Chesler is married to my niece, who and they currently are running AISH at Penn State University. They're doing a great job, and Daniel is known for his English humor. So I hope you guys get his English humor. And that's it. So Daniel, go ahead.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me on this platform. I was asked by Chaviva, my wife's aunt, to say a few words, 5 or 10 minutes. So I thought what to speak about. I thought maybe something to do with the Jewish calendar would be quite appropriate, where we find ourselves this time of year. So as either you're aware or you're not aware, for those of you that aren't aware, I'll just give a quick background. We're in a period of mourning, which started about 2 weeks ago, more or less. And we have 3 weeks of it starts from the 17th of Tammuz, the Hebrew month, and it goes to Tisha B'Av, and it gradually increases the severity and the intensity of the mourning. Right, it starts with the 3 weeks. We have a few prohibitions, then it gets to the 9 days, a bit more intense. Then the week of Tisha B'Av, the week of the final fast, even more intense, and then the day itself is the climax, if you will, of the mourning period. And it's an interesting period, and I think a lot of people find it hard and grapple with the with these weeks, with these days, how to feel of the Jewish calendar we kind of connect to. Whether it be Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, you know, I think a lot of us can connect to that. The New Year, starting afresh, you know, saying sorry for what we've done wrong, or Passover, celebrating our freedom, right? Even the rabbinic festivals of Purim and Hanukkah, the Jews were saved. We find it I think we find it easier to connect to, but I definitely think a lot of people struggle with these weeks, and Tisha B'Av in particular, about how to feel it and what are you meant to do? You know, yes, we're abstaining from quite a few different things. We're not taking haircuts. Sorry if I look a bit messy. You know, we're now, since today, we've started the next period of the 9 days. There's Rosh Chodesh today, yesterday, wherever you are. So, you know, we're not having meat and wine. We're not having, you know, special enjoyment. But it can be a bit artificial. It can be a bit, you know, hard to integrate into us and connect to, I feel. Do people understand what I'm saying about how it's difficult to maybe connect to these days and how we're meant to feel? Does that make sense to anyone? You can nod or put up your hand or something. Awesome, thumbs up, that's awesome. Okay, great. So yeah, so just a few minutes, hopefully just give a few ideas, a few concepts that maybe will help us with these days and help us what we're meant to be doing and how we're meant to be feeling during this time of the Jewish calendar. So I think if you ask most people what's it all about, I think, you know, the Hebrew word is avelut, commonly translated as mourning, days of mourning. So what are we mourning exactly? You know, so people will tell you, well, the 2 temples were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. We're mourning the destruction of the temple. That's what people will say. And I think that's where the problem starts, really, is that it's very hard to connect to that. How do we connect to a building that was destroyed a couple of 1,000 years ago. What's that got to do with me, Daniel Chesler, in the year 2020? You know, that's, you know, yes, I understand, you know, the other festivals, the other events in the Jewish calendar, I can connect to. There's some relevance there. You know, we can experience freedom today. We can experience happiness today with Sukkot. We can understand how Purim story, right? People wanted to kill us and we were saved. That's quite relevant. Right? We can understand and connect, but a building that was destroyed 2,000 years ago, what's going on? Where's the destruction? Well, how do I feel that destruction? On top of that, people say, you know, you go to Israel, you know, now it's not so easy unless you're an Israeli citizen. But to go back a few months, if people can remember, there was a time when you used to be able to get on a plane and go to Israel, even if you weren't a citizen, the good old days. So you go there and you come to a very nice airport in Lud, beautiful, lovely stone, nice conveyor belts that take you, don't even have to walk half the time, brilliant. And then you get to the city, right? If you go to Tel Aviv, beautiful, built up, great buildings. You go to Jerusalem, built up, beautiful shopping malls, beautiful places to eat, beautiful places to go, beautiful, all different. Jerusalem is built up. You know, you even go to the Kotel, it's a beautiful plaza. There's beautiful yeshivas there, beautiful places to study. What exactly of destruction are we referring to? Seems pretty, to my eye, seems pretty built up. Seems pretty good. Israel these days, pretty good. Where's the destruction? And you're right, to the naked eye, just to what we see, it doesn't seem, but we've got to go a bit further, we've got to go a bit deeper and see where the destruction is. And the destruction really, we don't have to look too far, unfortunately. The destruction nowadays is in the Jewish people themselves. The Jewish people are people, the chosen people, God's representatives in this world. The people who are meant to be that light unto the nations, as Isaiah the prophet says. The light unto the nations. What's a light? A light is in a place of darkness. Light is imperative. If you don't have a light, you're going to not have no idea what to do. We're meant to be that light. We're meant to show the whole world what it means, what it means to be human, what it means to give, what spirituality means, what's the point of the world. That's what we're meant to be as the Jewish people. But you look around at the Jewish people, and most communities, you know, if you live in a religious community, it's maybe a bit harder to see, but, you know, over 90% of Jewish people don't even know there's a God, don't identify as Jewish, don't know there's a God. That's the destruction. Look no further than that, right? They don't know who their Father is in heaven. In Hebrew, we call that Achilul Hashem. It's a big desecration of God's name, that his own children don't even know who he is. What a desecration. You know, one of the ways to feel these days is to try and tap into that and to feel that pain that God is going through, that his children don't even recognize him. They don't know why they're here. They're lost. We're going in completely the wrong direction. You know, it's one thing. You know, a father asks his son, please, son, get me a cup of water. And the son says no. Chutzpah. Terrible. No respect. And that's unfortunate. You know, within the religious world as well, there's a lot to be fixed. And even a lot of people who do know about God and do know about Torah and aren't doing the best they can, that's bad. But if the son turns around and says, why should I get you a cup of water? And the father says, well, I'm your father. And the son says, no, you're not. You're not my father. That is a travesty. One thing for religious people who know about God and Torah not to be doing and fulfilling what they're meant to be doing and having meaning in their life, that's one problem. And that's bad. That's chutzpah. That's not good. But for someone not even to know that their father exists, and not only that, but to say, you're not my father, with the very breath and the very saliva which God gives them, spit in God's face. That is what we should feel. That is just terrible. What a terrible, terrible thing. How all our brethren, most of our brethren across the whole world are in such a bad place and such a lost place. Where are they going? What's life? There's no meaning. There's no value. What are they running after? That is the destruction nowadays. That's what something I feel for me, I can tap into and realize and contemplate. And that gets me to a place of feeling these days and feeling the mourning of this mourning period. And just, just to believe in God is a tremendous thing. Just to believe in God is a tremendous thing. There's a story with Rabbi Kamenetsky. I think it was Rabbi Kamenetsky, a big rabbi here in America. And I don't know, it was a long time, quite a few decades ago. There was someone in the congregation, in the community, who was married to a non-Jew. And, obviously didn't have a kosher kitchen or anything. Anyway, there was a whole thing about Mashiach coming, about the Messiah coming. He got caught up with the Messiah coming. And he went over to the rabbi and he says, oh, I'm ready to divorce my wife and move into a different house, keep a kosher kitchen because Mashiach's coming. And the rabbi turned around and he said to him, you know what? Don't move out. Stay with your non-Jewish wife. Stay with your non-kosher. Don't move out. That's what he said to him. So he said, okay, fine. The rabbi told me to stay with my non-Jewish wife, I'll stay. The Talmidim, the students, turned to the rabbi. What? I don't understand. This guy is telling you he's ready to divorce his wife, his non-Jewish wife, and start to keep kosher. That's amazing. Why would you tell him to stay with her and just keep eating non-kosher? It doesn't make any sense. What's the explanation? The rabbi turned around and he said, what if Mashiach doesn't come? What if Mashiach doesn't come? He would have left his wife, he's all ridden up about it. He would have left his wife, and Mashiach doesn't come. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, half a year, a year, 2 years, Mashiach won't come. He's going to forget it all. Better he stays married to his non-Jewish wife, but believes in Hashem. Right now, he's a believer. He believes in God. He's not doing the best he can, maybe. But he believes in God. But if he leaves his non-Jewish wife and, takes on a lot, and Mashiach doesn't come, he's going to give up everything. Just to believe in God is so important. And the more people that we can get to that page, is so important. Just to believe that there's a creator. And yes, there's a purpose, and with time that comes. With time that comes. But the step number one is that there's a creator of the heavens and the earth. There's a creator of this world. Something gives me breath. That's so important. That's what we're meant to feel in these days. The desecration of God's name. Our Father in heaven. I don't think it's by any coincidence that the month we're in now is called Av. The month is called Av in Hebrew, which means Father. It's a month where we're meant to yearn for our Father. We want people to know who our Father is. We want people to understand why they're here. Their mission, a direction. Not like lost sheep. People hate inefficiency. Whether it be with materials in a business, business people are always trying to cut the inefficiencies, making their program more efficient. It could save millions, right? Cut out a tiny problem here, could save millions. People, it disturbs people when things go to waste. A human being is the biggest thing in the world, the most potential, a Jewish soul, limitless. And to see so many Jewish souls not knowing why they're here, following things in the blind, not having that light, not having that guiding light of spirituality, of meaning, of purpose in the world. That's tragic. That's tragic. The month is called Av. All we yearn for is our Father. It should be known amongst his children. It should be known that there's a Father in heaven. There's a Father who controls everything, who created us. That's what God wants. 2,000 years ago, we kicked the God out of when the temple was destroyed. It's more than just sticks and stones. The temple is a place of divine presence. We kicked him out. We didn't want him. We kicked him away with our sins. And in every generation, the rabbis say that it's not rebuilt, the temple. It's not just due to the previous generations, it's also our generation. We've got to find out there's a God, there's reason in the world, there's purpose in the world. That's really important. It's interesting because you ask people why they want Mashiach, and I'm going a bit over. I'm going to finish up now. Is that okay, Chaviva? Am I okay for a couple more minutes? Excellent. You know, it's I read a comparison, you know, story. There's a whole big wedding, beautiful wedding, very you know, fancy, nice wedding, and unfortunately, the father had passed away a few years back, and the bride or the groom was saying how they really missed their father. And they go, why are you being missed? Why are you missing the father? And if the person was to turn around and say, well, now that he's not here, I have to pay the bill. You know, I have to pay the bill. If my father's alive, you'd have paid the bill. Now I'm left with a bill. You know, is that called missing your father? You know, when people say I want Mashiach because I've got a health issue, I need a shidduch, you know, I'm my finances are not, you know, are not in order. I need some more money. That is, now these are all true problems, and 100%. And with Mashiach coming, you know, please God, they will be sorted 100%. But that's not why we should yearn for Mashiach. That's like saying, I want my dad to pay the bill. You want your father to be there because you want your father to be there. We want our Father. We want God. We want God to be part of our lives. That's what we want God for. Not just to pay for things, not just to make us better, that's a very micro level. We were looking at the macro here. Get the bigger picture. The bigger picture is we're missing God. We're missing our Father. So yeah, it's very nice to pay the bills. That's the tip of the iceberg. And the Rambam, yeah, Maimonides, the great Maimonides, who I like to refer to as the chiropractor, because he was a doctor that lived in Cairo. He says, he enumerates four things that when Mashiach will come, and these are the things we should really be looking forward to. These are the things why we should miss having God around. He enumerates four things. I'll go through them quickly because I know I'm going over. About what we're missing and what we should mourn for. The first thing is gather in all of Klal Yisrael. Mashiach, when Mashiach comes, he's going to gather all those souls. That 90% of people that don't even realize there's a God, he's going to gather them in. There's going to be absolute clarity between the Jews and non-Jews. Right? We say at the end of Aleinu, on that day, Hashem will be the king of the world. His name is one. Everyone will realize. That's what Mashiach will do. Right? If someone wants to say Mashiach has come, well, until that's done, Mashiach ain't come. Rambam says clearly what Mashiach's mission is, what he'll accomplish. Now, this one, for me, is, you know, I have a bias towards this. This is one of the only ones that we can actually do something about nowadays. We don't have to wait for Mashiach to come to start gathering in the Jewish people. We can get on with it now. You know, and wouldn't that show God how much we want Mashiach to come and how much we want everyone to recognize God if we actually do something about it? If we actually go out there and speak to unaffiliated Jews, bring them in, learn with them a little bit, bring them for a Shabbos meal. Do you not think that shows God, wow, this person actually cares about me? This person actually cares about my children? You know, this is the one Mashiach's going to do. You know, some people ask, oh, well, leave it to Mashiach. Why should you bother trying to outreach and bring people in? But what an amazing thing to do, to help along Mashiach, to bring people closer to God. You know, it's I don't know if I'm going over. When do I have to finish by, Chaviva?
I think you can go a few more minutes. Don't worry about it.
I mean, I might be like, because I wanted to, now something else popped into my mind.
What, another hour? You need another hour?
No, another like six minutes maybe.
I think 6 minutes will be okay.
Be okay?
Yeah.
Anyone that wants to leave, feel free to leave. I won't take it personally. There's a certain portion of the Torah called Nasis in Hebrew. It's the one who we're coming up to in a few weeks in Deuteronomy. It talks about how someone says to someone, a Jew says to a Jew, come with me and worship another God. Come with me and worship another God. And the Jew says, no, I'm not interested. No, that's false. That's rubbish. I know there's God, one God, the God of Israel. He's a true God. I'm not going to worship another thing. Even still, the person that tried to get the Jew to worship a foreign thing, he's chayiv misa. He's warranting that he gets put to death just for trying to bring someone out of the straight and narrow into falsehood, That's a death penalty. That's very severe. You know, people say, who am I to speak to other Jews, to bring them in, to show them what Yiddishkeit, what Judaism is all about? Who am I? I don't know too much. I don't know anything. You know, I have a little Shabbos meal, fine. I know a few things, fine. What do I know? But we learn from here the opposite. Imagine someone says to someone, come with me, come, let's learn a bit of Torah. Come with me, come to my Shabbos meal. And you're not even successful. The guy says no. The guy spits in your face. The guy says, leave me alone. Just for trying, just for saying the words. You see from the severity on the flip side, that if you say to someone, come with me, serve a foreign deity, that you're warranting the death penalty. It's so severe. On the flip side, you tell someone, come with me, let's serve Hashem. Let me teach you something. Join me for a Shabbos meal. If they come, great. But even if they don't come, it's amazing what you've accomplished. Just that trying is an accomplishment. You know, and that's something we can do nowadays to hasten the Mashiach, is by reaching out to people, caring about our brothers and sisters, bringing them in, showing them what Yiddishkeit is. So many people are so ignorant and never been exposed to anything. So important. That's one thing Mashiach will do. Number one is gathering in all the Jewish people to recognize the God. The second one, and I'll just finish quickly, the second one is a central authority. Even within the religious world, unfortunately, there's so much machloikas, there's so much division, even within the Orthodox world. Many divisions, this Hasidus, the other Hasidus, you know, all different, you know, groups of people fighting. No one holds of each other. When Mashiach comes, there's going to be one Mashiach, one king. Everyone will be subservient, everyone will understand, there'll be one truth. How beautiful would that be? No more infighting. You know, sometimes the worst anti-Semitism is in the Jewish camp. You know, the Jewish anti-Semites are the worst. Unfortunately, there's so much anti-Semitism within our own camp. When Mashiach comes, we're missing that unity. We want that clarity. We want that unity of someone coming and be like, this is the way, this is the derech. This is the right way, and this is it. And everyone will be united. And we're like, oh, okay, great. And everyone will be under the same, be beautiful. That's something we should lament. That's something we should miss on Tisha B'Av. The Torah itself, God gave us a Torah. He created the world and gave us the Torah. He gave us a guidebook to life. He gave us this amazing opportunity for spirituality, of connecting to Him. There's 630 mitzvahs, 630 commandments. The vast majority of them we're not able to keep nowadays. There's no temple, there's no priests. So many of the laws are based upon having a temple. The Torah, by keeping the Torah, by doing the mitzvahs, we attain a shleimus, we attain a perfection, a closeness to God. We should be missing that. Unfortunately, we don't have the temple, we don't have hundreds of laws. We should mourn for that. We have so many different avenues of connection to God are missing from us. We should think about that. We should mourn about that. And the biggest thing, number 4, is the divine presence itself. God would be in the world more. God is in the Beis HaMikdash. That's His home. The highest degree of God manifesting Himself in this world is in that place. You know, people say, how do I connect to that? And what I would say to you is, if someone asked me that, is, you know, yes, maybe someone who doesn't connect to God on a regular basis, maybe, but they might have had that second of inspiration here, that second of inspiration there, that connection over here, whether it be on Yom Kippur, whether it be just with nature. You see an awesome sunset, you see an awesome, you know, thing in nature, and you just, wow, God, you just, you know, and you feel that presence. That's what it will be like the whole time, times 1,000. That connection to God, that's real. That's real. That's what it's all about. That's what life's all about. Life's all about connecting God. That's the biggest pleasure. The rabbis tell us that's the biggest pleasure. People think they know what the biggest pleasures are. The biggest pleasure is spiritual connection. Connection to God, that's the biggest pleasure. There's nothing like it. It's the best drug. It gives you the biggest high. And that's what we're going to be on this natural spiritual high the whole time. That's what we should miss. That we're lost. We have this darkness. And hopefully soon we're going to have the period of Mashiach coming and the gathering of the Jews and all this awesome stuff. And we're going to finally be that light unto the nations. And we're going to be, wow, this is who we are. We know what we're doing here. We're not lost. We have a guidebook. We have spirituality. We know what life's about. We have a mission. And with that, we can show the whole world and glorify God's name to the whole world. So I hope that helped people understand maybe what these days are about a bit more. I'm sorry if I went over. And all the very best to everyone. Thank you so much for having me here tonight.
Thank you so much, Daniel. That was really great. Thank you.
Well done, Daniel. Thank you so much.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Thank you.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Whoa.
Go.
All right. Gotta go.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I got him stuck here, that I was able to push him to do this. Okay, I need to start off from here.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right. Good night, guys.